Hey everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I'm glad you're here today. I'm going to show you how to make 3 different cards with a butterfly silhouette using mixed media. Okay, so the first card, I'm going to use this thin cut from Close to My Heart called Layered Butterflies, and even though it's a retired item, it is still available in my online store. And then some Cricut cuts. Okay, so the first background is going to be Distress Oxide. The second background, Nuvo Shimmer powders. And the third will be alcohol pearls from Ranger. Okay, so let's get started. The first one is going to be the Distress Oxides, and I've got some white cardstock cut at 4 by 5 1/4. I'm going to start out by laying down some color. I'm using Twisted Citron, Blueprint Sketch, and Wilted Violet. Okay, so I'm laying some color down, and then when I go to lay my second color down, I'm going to leave that white line in between the colors. Okay, so we're just putting color down now. We're leaving that white void so that we'll have room to blend. And then I'll put my third color, Wilted Violet, down. All right. This one's a little messy, so you'll need a paper towel. So, all right, now I'm ready to start pulling the Wilted Violet into the Blueprint Sketch. So I just start blending upwards, and then I'm going to take my Blueprint Sketch and blend down and just go back and forth until you're happy with the blend. So you're kind of creating a third color between those two. And be sure, and then I'm going to do that with the Twisted Citron and the Blueprint Sketch. Be sure to choose colors kind of in the same family so that you don't get mud when you blend your two colors together. So since green and blue are next to each other on the color wheel, they're going to work together, and same thing with the blue and purple. Just be mindful of your color choices. You can also do an ombre with 3 colors that are in the same family, light, medium, and dark. Okay. All right, so now we have our background with some bright colors. And then I'm going to bring in my water spritzer. Okay, so this just has water in it. And if you pull slightly on the trigger, you'll get splotches of water, like large water droplets. Or if you pull quickly, you get a fine mist. So you can do what you like, and I kind of did a little bit of both here, and then I'm just taking a piece of paper towel and placing it over that panel to pull up that color so I get those white oxidized spaces. Okay, so now let's make another one. This is going to be with the Nouveau Shimmer powder. So I'm using watercolor cardstock from Timholtz, and the colors I'm using are Maroon Spark and Solar Flare. So I'm going to kind of create a background for a monarch butterfly. So I'm going to have yellow in the middle and then red towards the edges. Okay, so since it's watercolor paper, I've tacked my cardstock down using some purple tape so that it won't curl up when I hit it with water. And then you just tap on these little bottles and tap the powder out. And you can use as little or as much as you like. It's good to have a watercolor paintbrush with you just so that you can break up those concentrated areas of powder. And then you just spritz it with water. And again, you can use as much or as little as you like. The more you use, the more you'll disperse that color. And you can add more if you like I did right there. That you can go as thin as you want and have more of a watercolor type look, or you can have a real dense, concentrated color like I'm doing here. And then I'm just breaking up these areas that have lots of powder in it, and just adding some water and kind of breaking up the color and sort of moving color around. A lot of it does the work on its own, just it'll move around as it reacts, and you'll see all that shimmer. But you can help it along with the paintbrush. All right, I think I like that. And then I'm just taking a paper towel and kind of soaking up those puddles of water. And just pulling more of that water out. Okay. All right, so I'll get that out of the way and set it aside to dry, and we'll do our third one. Okay, so this is with alcohol pearls. So I have some blending solution. I'm using Yupo paper. It's a special cardstock that's formulated to use with alcohol inks and pearls. And then I'm just dropping different colors down onto this Yupo paper. So I'm using Villainous and Intrigue, Enchanted, and Tranquil are my 4 colors. And I'm just going to continue adding color, and then I have my air blower there to kind of move the color around. So this is Yupo cardstock, and it's a little bit different than Yupo paper. The inks move a little bit slower and they dry a little bit quicker. So you do have to move quickly, but you can always add some blending solution to get that color to move around. If you're a newbie at using alcohol inks and pearls, this is a good starter because the color doesn't move quite as much. So you have a little bit more control. And again, same thing with the Nouveau Shimmer powders and with the alcohol pearls. It kind of does its own thing. So you just kind of wait for it to move, and you just wait until you see what you like, and just you can keep going if you want. You can stop at any time. So I'm just dropping color and letting it move around. And it's a little hard to see on camera, but these have a lot of shimmer and shine to it too. Really pretty colors. So I'll just keep dropping color. All right, I think I like that, so I'm going to set that aside. So now we're ready to start building our cards. So we'll go back to that first panel. So I'm going to use this butterfly thin cut. I'll bring in my big shot, and I'm going to cut that out with black cardstock. So with these cards, I'm just using 1 layer, but if you want some more dimension, you can cut several of these images out with black cardstock and then just layer them on top of each other. But I think they worked with just 1 layer. Okay, so I'm just going to poke out all those little bits. So this butterfly is the thin cut, and like I said before, it's still available in my online store. And I'll make a list of supplies with links in the description below. And then the other 2 butterflies are cricut cuts. Okay, so we can start building our card. I have an A2 card base, and I'm just going to lay this black cardstock down using Tombow tape runner. And this piece of black cardstock is cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. I'm going to get some scratch paper out. Sometimes the Oxide inks, they'll transfer to your surface, so you have to be careful if it's not completely dry. And then we're ready to put the butterfly down. I'm just kind of positioning it on my card front. And I'm using these all occasion strips from Paper Roses. They're sentiment sheets, and they're all printed out, and you just cut them apart. So they're on kind of a heavyweight cardstock, and you can cut them apart. You can create banners out of them. You get several in a pack. Some are black printed on white, and some are white on black. Okay, so I'm just going to add some glue to my butterfly and then add it to the front of my card. Okay, and then I'll pop that sentiment with some thin foam tape. First, I'm going to create a banner out of it. So I'm just going to dovetail the ends of this sentiment. So you just snip in the center and take each corner to meet that snip and create a little triangle cut out there. And then I'll pop it with some thin foam tape. Okay. And then, of course, I need some added blings. These are crystal gems from Nuvo. You can use them that close to my heart. Clear sparkles. I like these because they're iridescent and they'll pick up some of the colors around them. So I just scattered a bunch of those on the front and glued them down. So I'll have some close-up shots in a second. Look how sparkly and pretty that is. And here's some close-up shots. Pretty quick and simple. And they all turn out different. Okay, let's make the next one. This is with the Nouveau Shimmer powders. So I've got some craft foam. I'm going to pop that panel. So I'm cutting it down just a little bit smaller than 4 by 5. And then I'm going to bring in some black cardstock and I'm going to cut my base. So my base is going to be an A2 card size, which is 4 by 5 1/4. Excuse me, 4 1/4. Yeah, no, 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And I'm flipping that card stock around because one of the ends got kind of crunched. So I want to make sure that I've got a clean edge. All right, so now we're going to start building our card. I'm going to put that black down with some tape runner. And then I'm going to trim my art panel. So this butterfly, of course, it's larger than my art panel, so I'm going to be trimming off an edge. And when you're using watercolor paper, it's thicker, so that's why I like to use my Timholtz guillotine trimmer. It just cuts a cleaner edge and it's easier. So I'm trimming this down. So it's 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to lay my butterfly down, deciding where I want it to be positioned. I think I like that. Okay, so I'm just going to add some white glue to all those intricate little pieces there. I've got a needle tip on that glue bottle. And then I'll add my butterfly. And then I'll bring my trimmer in again. So you just slide that in and trim off the excess. Okay, and then we can start building the card. And this is some Tombow white glue. It works really well with the craft foam. I'm just going to add that to my art panel there and pop the whole panel on that black base. So you do have to hold it down a little bit because that watercolor paper, it curls up a bit. So you have to make sure it flattens out. So I decided to bring in the black sentiments with the white writing for this one. So this is how they come, and you just trim them up. Okay, so I've got that same sentiment, and I'm going to flag one end, or dovetail it, and we'll get that added, and then I'll use that other one for the next card. Yeah, I think that looks better. So I'm going to pop that with some thin foam tape. And again, I'll bring in some of those Nouveau crystals, and I'll scatter a bunch of those around. And there's my finished card. So pretty. Look at all that shimmer and shine. I hope the camera's picking up a lot of that shimmer from the Nouveau powders. It's so pretty. Okay. All right, last card. This is the one with the alcohol pearls. And it's the same basic card design, so I'm going to cut my base at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and we'll bring in a card base and start layering everything up. So it's the same basic design. I'll take you through that real quickly. These backgrounds are so much fun to create. I hope you give it a try. You can use any kind of silhouette. I like the butterfly, but you could use a floral image. There's lots of different choices that you can cut in black cardstock. So look at your stash and see what you've got for thin cuts, or you can look at your Cricut library and see what you've got. Just cut it out in black cardstock. Okay, so now I'm trimming up this alcohol panel, and it's going to eventually be 4 by 5 1/4. So I'm just looking at it to decide what areas I want to trim off. And then I'm going to add my butterfly. So it's the same process as the other card. I'll add my butterfly, and part of it will be off of the edge. And then I'll bring my trimmer in and cut off the excess there. Okay. Now I'll start layering everything up. I'm going to pop that panel with the craft foam. And then I'll add my sentiment with some foam tape. I love the colors in this one. So pretty. And then, of course, I have to add some bling, so I'm going to add some of these Nouveau crystals. I'll have some close-up shots in just a sec. So pretty. So again, I'll make a list of all the supplies that I used in the description below with links. I appreciate you watching my video today. If you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button, and then you'll be able to find all of my videos. I have quite a few in the library there. Also, if you like this video, if you hit the like button, I'd appreciate that too. And thanks for watching.